This is the National Pro Cup Championship, crown jewel of late model competition. Here for race number 8 of 24, NPCC at VIR, Virginia International Raceway, a 3.27 mile road course in Olton, Virginia, that is 17 turns long. Our second stop in Virginia this season. Pepsi Max, proud sponsor of the pole award given to the fastest qualifier at each National Pro Cup Championship event. And today, a bit of a surprise, the 08 of Ray Takita for Olympic Racing sits on the pole here today. But she's got a slight problem, as you see coming to the green on her outside is Chuck Johnson. And we've seen already this season how good Chuck Johnson has been on the road courses, of course, winning the first race of the season, which was on the Daytona road course. Starting in the second row is Roy Warren in the 99 and the 56 is Sean Johnson, who sat on the pole in that race. And coming into turn number 3, known as the Bend, Johnson solidly now has the lead in front of Ray Takita as they head into the left hook, turn 4, which leads then into turns 5 through 9, called the Snake or the S's, and several cars off into the grass there, 56 into the grass, but he retains the third spot, and that looks like Zach got in the 71 as Johnson heads up through the S's. Let's see what happened here. The 99, oh, he gets tagged by the 71 coming into the S's, and into the wall he goes, and that's the end of the race for Warren. Oh, that's what happened. He went off into the grass coming into the S's, went a little bit wide, and then came back onto the track right in front of the 71 as Zach got. Yep, it just looked like the 99 took the turn way too wide, tried to come back on the track, and right in front of the 71. God is able to keep the car back onto the track, but he loses quite a bit of track position in the process. Further back in the pack as they head through the S's, the 66 and 8 Patrick gets way loose, and he gets tagged by the 2 of Vinny LaBouffe, and both cars spin out in the S's. Tough break for both drivers. Patrick in particular came in the top 10 in the point standings after a runner-up finish at South Boston last week. Speaking of South Boston, here is the 16 of Star Banner. After her activities at the end of last week's race, she was sent to the rear of the field for today's race and given 15 demerit points. Star Banner and the team appealed the penalty, but it was upheld by the NPCC, who basically stated that despite the fact that even if it wasn't intentional, she took out 2 cars after the checkered flag, as you see her going off the track at the roller coaster turn, and as she comes back onto the track, she gets into the 49 of Arthur Gordon. So both cars able to get back going again, but they lose a lot of track position in the process. Your championship leader, Eric Drakerider, started back in the 21st position today, so despite the fact that he is an acclaimed road course driver from his sports car days, his road course prowess here in the NPCC has not really been that impressive other than a runner-up at Sebring. Now the guy that has been impressive, and of course due to his sports car background, is then John Quackenbush in the 28 car for Gravity Racing Incorporated, already with 1 win this season at Long Beach, but kind of down the order here today at VIR, currently in the 8th position. Certainly not what we were expecting out of him this season. Ray Takita currently running in the number 3 spot, I believe, as Sean Johnson has gotten around her. But still, this is a great run for Takita, who's currently running 13th in the championship after finishes as 17th and 19th the last 2 races. This is exactly what she needed, and of course she also got her first career pole. And here's another case of turn 5 shenanigans as the 15 of Gianni Corelli gets off track, and Alexis Farr, unfortunate victim there, as you see the 15 coming into the left hook. Gets a bit wide, heading into turn 5, tries to come back on track and into the side of the 78. 78 getting the worst in the exchange as she hits the tire barriers. Both cars do continue on, however. The 90 car of Andrea Lynn Caldwell running in the 5th position, but not now as she gets off into the grass, coming into the South Bend. Tough break for Caldwell, who's running in the top 5 and has actually had a pretty consistent season, although she did follow the race at Sebring with an engine failure. Here's the 56 of Sean Johnson, currently running in the 2nd position and running down the other Johnson, Chuck Johnson, in the 18 car. Sean has actually had a pretty good season. Despite having only 2 top 10 finishes, he hasn't finished lower than 13th all season. And as you see, Chuck Johnson gets off into the grass at the hog pen turn 17, and it's allowed Sean Johnson in the 56 to gain quite a bit of ground. He was 2.5 seconds behind. Now he's less than a second. Here is Ray Takita in the 08, and 13 of Aubrey Wood battling for the third position here, coming through the roller coaster turn into turns 15 and 16. And Valerie Forge, Sean Sanchez, and Quackenbush all right there. Chiquita was able to hold off Wood for a while, but coming into the hog pin turn, here comes Aubrey Wood with a run on Chiquita for the third position. And Sanchez, who started back in the 14th position today, has a run on Forge for the 5th position, and now has a run on Chiquita heading into turn 1, known as the Horseshoe, and he takes over the 4th position. This 58 car has really been fast today. Back in the pack, Drake Ryder gets into the 8 of Joshua Michaels a little bit. No, into the grass he goes, right in front of Michaels. Boy, that sure gave Michaels a scare there, who's already got 19 demerit points and certainly doesn't need any more, otherwise he'll get a points penalty. But great save by Drake Ryder there in the S's, and woohoo! Very close call there for both Michaels and Drake Ryder. That could have ended really bad. Getting back on the subject of Sean Sanchez in the 58, quite a miserable season so far for this 58 team. Currently 20th in the point standings, although he did get a top 10 finish last week at South Boston, but it's looking really good right now. He currently has the fastest car on the track according to timing and scoring. Chiquita's good run starts to turn sour here as he starts to slip into the outside the top 10, and into the grass she goes, heading into the South Bend. Tough break for Chiquita, who started on the pole today but has been slowly but surely slipping backwards. She's still inside the top 10 at this point. It's really started to go downhill for her, and here's another case of turn 5 calamity as the 8 and 90 get together. Although it looked like the 8 tried to avoid the 90 as the 90 went into the grass into turn 5 right there, and it definitely looked like the 8 tried to avoid her there. It looked like just a racing incident. Here on board with the 8 as they go into turn 5. Yeah, it definitely looked like the 8 tried to avoid the 90 going into turn 5 as he seemed to try to swing wide, but the 90 just kept coming over and over until they ran out of racetrack. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the 18 of Chuck Johnson starting to feel the pressure from that Mike Howard racing machine of Sean Johnson. So it's the Johnson & Johnson show here at VIR today. In the meantime, here's the 71 of Zach Gott after his excursion earlier, finds himself back inside the top 10, and has even gotten around his teammate John Quackenbush. So the Quackster not up to the par of his road course abilities that we have seen this season, which is a bit of a surprise. Meanwhile, here's the 18 of Chuck Johnson, but here's the move that Sean has been waiting for. Into the grass goes the 18 at the hog pin turn, and Sean Johnson says, "Thank you very much, I'll just take the lead right there." Chuck Johnson's able to get it back onto the track, but he loses a lot of track position to that 56 car, who now leads the race for the first time here today, and the first time since Daytona. And here on board with Sean Johnson as he has a look at the 18 going wide at the hog pin turn. Valerie Forge in turn 5 gets into the grass a little bit. She's currently running in the 5th position, but that's no longer the case as Gott gets around her in the S's. And there's Parker Witten with a good run here today as he also gets around the 24 in the S's, picking up the number 6 position. And there's Quackenbush tailing all 3 of those drivers. Still a good run for Forge though. And meanwhile, up in front of these guys, Aubrey Wood gets it a little bit loose in the S's, and into the grass she goes from 4th. Gott gets around her, as does Witten and Forge, who are still battling for that position, and Quackenbush. What a bummer for Aubrey Wood, who was running in the top 5, but now finds herself back in 8th position. Still a good run for her, though. Much needed. Here's a pass for 2nd, as Sean Sanchez has certainly been running through the field here, as he gets a run on Chuck Johnson at the Oak Tree turn. And down the backstretch they go. Sanchez takes over the number 2 spot from Chuck Johnson. And boy, I'll tell you, that 58 car is really fast. And coming down to 8 laps remaining in this race, Sanchez is in 2nd and has a 4-second gap to make up on his teammate, but it certainly would not take long for him to catch him. With 4 laps remaining, Sanchez has caught the rear bumper of the 56 car, which it certainly helped that the 2 was right there as well, but the 2 does give way to both of these guys, allowing them to settle it among themselves for the win today. So good job by Benny LaBouffe to get out of the way of these guys. And now here we come to the white flag. It's the Mike Howard Racing teammates of Sanchez and Johnson. battling it out for the victory here today as they go through turn 1, the horseshoe. Out of turn 2 they come as they head towards turn 3, the bend as they call it here, VIR, excuse me. And Sanchez looking like he's got a little bit of a run on that 56 car as they head into the left hook, turn 4, and into the S's. That 58 car is looking pretty good. He's got a run on him heading into the S's. As they come through, ooh, there might have been a little bit of contact there between the two teammates. Certainly no team orders here at Mike Howard Racing as we take another look at it as they head through the S's. Oh yeah, there was definitely some contact between the 58 and the 56 as we ride on the rear bumper. Oh yeah, there it is. Bang! Certainly crumpled the front end of that 58 car a little bit. I think that's just Sanchez's way of saying to his teammate, hey man, I'm here and I'm not going to let you get this one that easily. Wow, great racing here between these two teammates. No team orders here as they head through the oak tree turn. Johnson gets away just a little bit, but they're going down the backstretch, and you can certainly gain a bit of a draft down there as Sanchez begins to close back in as they head up the hill through the roller coaster, as they call it here at VIR. And out of turn number 17, Sanchez has a run on him coming out of the hog pen. Does he have enough? No, it doesn't look like it. Shawn Johnson is going to hold off his teammate, Shawn Sanchez, and he takes the checkered flag here at VIR for his first career NPCC victory. What a race between these two teammates. Sanchez coming home in second. Probably a bit disappointed, but still pretty thrilled overall after having a pretty miserable season. Chuck Johnson continues his run in the championship with a third place effort. Zach Gott turns around his season with a fourth place finish after back-to-back 21st place finishes. As does Parker Wittendahl, of course, continues her good runs. Quackenbush in 7th, Aubrey Wood 8th, Nick Van Gelder 9th, and Eric Drakerider comes home in 10th, despite starting 21st and having a bit of an off earlier in the race. 11th place, Oi Mishishima had a pretty consistent season. Isabella Messina coming home in 12th position. Ray Takita 13th after starting on the pole, so she's probably a bit disappointed with that result. Betty Cox and Jennifer Duke, the two teammates of Cox and Duke Racing, 14th and 15th. Star Banner had to start the rear of the field, comes home with an okay result in 16th. Joshua Michaels in 17th, Nate Patrick 18th, Johnny Morelli 19th, and Arthur Gordon 20th. Most of these drivers had problems earlier in the race that put them back in the running order. Alexis Farr 21st, Andrea Lynn Caldwell 22nd, Benny LaBouffe 23rd, and Roy Warren, the only car out of the race after that little dust-up with Zach Gott in the 71 on lap number 1. The NPCC Rose Cup point standings after 4 of 9 races. Quackenbush continues to lead the way, but his hold on the championship slipping a little bit as Chuck Johnson closes in on him a little bit, now just 24 points back. Shawn Johnson in 3rd now, 32 points back after his victory today. Forge, Drakerider, Gott, Patrick, Van Gelder, Mishishima, and Wood round out the top 10. As for the overall championship, we have reached the obligatory 1/3 mark. Drakerider continues to lead the way, breaking the 300 mark, but Johnson closing in on him just a little bit, now just 18 points back. Quackenbush in 3rd, Forge in 4th, Gott and Shawn Johnson now tied for 5th, 80 points out of the lead. Parker Witten in 7th, Nate Patrick 8th, Nick Van Gelder breaks his way back into the top 10, and Oi Mishishima rounds out the top 10, 146 points out of the lead. The next race for the National Pro Cup Championship will be the 3rd and final stop in Virginia this season, the Super X Tire Inflator 100 at the Langley Field Speedway. Thank you for joining us today. I'm color commentator John Lyondike, and we'll see you next time.